Um, Hi everyone, welcome to another session of hashtag Mentoras, a rundown of patent laws in India. With us today is RP Yadav sir. RP Yadav sir, namaskar. Thank you for joining us today. We're very excited to have such an experienced IP advocate on our panel today. Thank you very much. A little bit of background on RP Yadav sir. He graduated. He completed his BSc honors from AMU Aligarh and then completed his LLB from AMU Aligarh. He has been a practicing advocate for over 33 years now. His his areas of practice are mainly intellectual property, and he's currently the managing partner of an IP law firm, SR for IPR Partners, Patents and Trademark Attorneys. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Just before we begin again, I'd like to remind everyone. Sorry, sir?
Should I start?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Please begin.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I was asked by lawyer team to give a task today, talk on patent system and patent laws in India. So let me start this disclaimer that this is simple, my own opinion, and I cannot be held liable for anything because this is simple opinion. This is not a legal advice. So before going to the patent laws and patent system in India, let me give a brief intro that what is intellectual property. As most of you must be aware of, that intellectual property is created by a person by using his own intellect for ultimate use in commerce. And the criteria is that this property which has been created by the person should not be available in the public domain. If I say in 3 words, creation of mind is intellectual property. And the examples are like an invention, a new design of an article, literary or artistic work, or maybe a trademark. So this is intellectual property. And intellectual property rights are the statutory rights granted by the government to the inventor or creator or owner of the intellectual property to exploit the intellectual property and to stop others from exploiting the same commercially for a given period of time. And you know why this kind of statutory rights are being granted to the applicant or creator of the intellectual property? Because the creator or inventor of the intellectual property work hard. He works for long hours in the lab, day and night, and for years together. And only after investing this much amount of time, energy, and sometimes money also, whatever he has invented is being disclosed in the form of the application form, which is meant for maybe a patent, trademark, copyright, or design. And in lieu of this disclosure, the government grants these intellectual property rights to this person. Let's go ahead. I thought that let me inform you that what are the types or kinds of intellectual property which are existing in India. So the first is patent, and patent is used for the protection of technologies. Technology may be relating to a product, technology may be related to a process, and the act is named as the Patent Act 1970. The second one is trademark, and the trademark is used to protect the words, signs, logos, labels, and the name of the act is the Trademark Act 1999. The third one is design. Design is for the outer ornamental configuration of an item. So whatever we can see from our naked eyes is covered under designs, and the name of the act is the Designs Act 2000. And the fourth one is copyright. Under copyright, literary and artistic work are protected, and the name of the act is the Copyright Act 1956. GI, geographical indication, and this is to protect the products, whether natural products or man-made products, in a particular territory, particular region of a state or of a country, and the act is being known as Geographical Indication of Goods Act 1999. And then another one is IC, integrated circuits, just to protect the integrated circuits and layout designs. The name of the act is Protection of Integrated Circuit Layout and Designs Act 2000. And another one is plant invented by the farmers. So the farmers, whenever they are working in their field, and if they have invented something new with regard to the plants, they may be protected under the Plant Varieties and Farmer Rights Act 2001. And the last one is trade secret. And there is no legislation for this trade secret in India, but in US there is a legislation. Trade secret is the one which is kept secret, and trade secret remains in force till the inventor or creator of the intellectual property is able to keep it secret. As soon as the secret is public or is gone to the public domain, this trade secret benefit is lost. And the best example of this trade secret is the chemical composition of the soft drinks like Coke and Pepsi. So Coke and Pepsi, if you see the taste of these two soft drinks, they are different taste, but no one else is able to make a soft drink having the same taste as of Coke or of Pepsi. And these people, Coke and Pepsi people, they have not got the protection of this intellectual property under any law, whether this is patent, copyright, or whatever. Now, all kinds of intellectual property rights, what we have discussed here and above, they are all territorial rights. It means that your rights are protected in the country wherever you have got the protection under the different legal statutes like Patent Act, Trademark Act, Designs Act, Copyright Act, GI Act. So if you have got your intellectual property protection in India, based on this Indian protection, you cannot go to US and say to the someone there that, look, you can't copy it because I have got a patent there in India. No, you cannot do this. If you want to stop others from exploiting your intellectual property there in a foreign country, then you have to obtain the protection under the respective laws there in that country, and only then you are able to stop others from using your intellectual property in that particular country. Now, what are the importance of patent? Patent, as I said, is an intellectual property or asset. So it's a kind of property, and it can be used or it can be enjoyed in the same manner as you enjoy your other movable and immovable properties. movable property like your motorbike, like your car, and immovable properties like your house, like your agricultural land. So the way you use and enjoy these properties, you can also enjoy in the same manner your patent, which is a kind of intellectual property. Patent is also important for product uniqueness. You might be aware of that Samsung and Apple, they both are in the field of, or in the business of, making so many electronic products, including mobile phones. So Samsung wants that my product is the best one. Apple wants that my product is the best one, and they both are in competition. They always try to innovate such kind of technologies which makes their respective products as unique product. As I have worked with Intel for almost 3 years at their R&D center in Bangalore, I will give you the example of microprocessor, which is being manufactured by Intel, and the microprocessor, which is being manufactured by AMD. And the microprocessor, which is being manufactured by AMD, is the very fast microprocessor. And the microprocessor, which is being made and marketed by Intel, is a kind of slow processor. It is not as fast as the microprocessor of AMD. But even the microprocessor which is made and sold by Intel is being treated as unique. Do you know why? Because this microprocessor of Intel long last. Do you know why? Because see, when microprocessor works, or your computer works, millions and millions of data is being run from here to there, means from memory to the random access memory and to the disk where they are stored. And lot of heat is generated by this microprocessor. The Intel has got a unique technology provided with its microprocessor, which dissipates the heat very fast. You might have seen whenever your computer is on, whether this is desktop or your laptop, there is a fan which is running continuously. And if you put your hand before this fan, you will feel that hot air is coming out. And that is what is the technology which dissipates the heat. So the technology which is being used by the Intel is better one than the technology which is being used by AMD for the dissipation of the heat. And therefore, and this is the reason that AMD's processor does not long last, but the processor which is being sold by Intel long last. And therefore, you might have seen that almost 60% of the market is being captured by Intel. Any kind of computer you see, there is written Intel inside. It means that the microprocessor which is being used in this computer is of Intel. And the third importance is increased TAM, total available market. As I have said just now, that total available market is captured almost 60% by Intel, not by AMD. And this is what is being done by doing continuous research and development to promote or to make the product as the best product. And the fourth importance is licensing and cross licensing. You might have seen, and if I give you here an example, Suppose company A has got a internal combustion engine which runs on petroleum fuel. Petroleum fuel means on petrol or diesel. Now company B, and do you know what is important in these internal combustion engines? This is the carburetor. Carburetor is the heart of the engines, and carburetor is the one which mixes the fuel with the air, and this mixture of fuel and air goes into the piston and cylinder assembly and it's burned there, and this creates the energy, and this is the energy which runs the engine. So company A and company B, now what company B did was that they improved or innovated, made the innovation with regard to this what did I say, a carburetor, and they improved the carburetor in such a way that this carburetor now is capable enough to work on gaseous fuel, that is PNG, CNG and all that. Both the people, the internal combustion engine which is capable to run on petroleum fuel is patented by company A. The carburetor, improved carburetor, innovated carburetor, the patent is with company B. Now see, company A cannot manufacture a internal combustion engine with the carburetor which is being developed by company B, because company B has got a patent with them. Similarly, the company B cannot manufacture a IC engine even with his innovated carburetor, because company A has got the patent for the IC engine as a whole. And there, the question of licensing and cross licensing exists. So what company A and company B do here is that they both join hands. They will transfer the technologies, license the technologies. Company A will license the whole technology to company B, and company B will license the whole technology to company A with regard to carburetor, and both the companies will manufacture and sell the engines, IC engines, the market, and they will both be benefited. And the last but not the least importance is defensive position. Defensive position means that company A, and if I really give you the example, Microsoft, Intel, Oracle, you might not have seen any kind of litigation between these people, because these people have got the very strong patent portfolio with them. Like Intel has got thousands and thousands of patents relating to software. Similarly, Microsoft, though they are in the business of software, but they have got thousands and thousands of patents relating to hardware. And Intel knows that there are a lot of patents with Microsoft. Microsoft knows that there are a lot of patents Intel has, and they don't sue. They don't litigate with each other. You might not have seen any litigation between Microsoft and Intel and Oracle and any other company, because they have got a strong portfolio of patent. So again, the importance of the patent portfolio is that everyone wants to be on defensive position, and everyone wants to let the other know that, look, you do your business, mind your own business, don't be in fight with me. And that is what is defensive position. Now let's see what is exactly patent. Patent is an exclusive monopoly right granted by the state government to the applicant for a particular time limit for an invention, just for manufacturing and selling the same. And why it is being given? In lieu of the information's best known method, which is disclosed by the inventor or applicant in the form of a patent application to the state government. Now here, See, the patent is granted for an invention. Now, what is an invention? Let us understand it. And the patents, what does it confers? It confers the rights that the patentee has got the complete right, total ownership to the manufacture and sale of his or her patented item. And they also have right to stop others from manufacturing and selling the same product without their permission. Now, let us understand what is invention, because the patent is granted for an invention. So we have to understand what is an invention. An invention in general means a new discovery relating to a product or process, even to an existing module or idea. Existing module or idea, I have given you the example of IC. Now, this is what an invention in general. But an invention, according to the Patent Act, Section 21J, is and means a new product or process, involving an inventive step and capable of industrial application. Means any invention which is related to either a product or a process, and this product or process is new. This product or process is inventive. Inventive means that some technological advancement has been done, and the product or process is of industrial application. It means that the product or process is being used in the industry, is being manufactured in the industry for the use at the public at large. So if you have done this, then this is an invention under the meaning of Section 21J. And this kind of invention which fulfills these three criteria, that is the product or process is new, has got inventive step, and is of industrial application, only then such inventions are the patentable inventions. Now let us understand what is novelty, newness. The novelty is determined based on the prior art, and prior art is the one which is known to the public, either in the form of a publication or it is actually in use. So when the product or process is known or is available in the public domain, this is being called as prior art. And for an invention to be determined whether it is new or not, what we usually do is that we make the prior art searches. And this prior art, what is the prior art? In fact, the prior art is defined by the statute. It's not by anyone's common sense. No, it is defined by the statute itself, and this says that printed publications anywhere in the world before filing the patent application. So if any product, suppose you have invented a product and you think that this is the new product, but if it is published, informations regarding such type of product is already published anywhere in the world in a kind of technical journal, then it would be treated as if your invention is not a novel invention. Similarly, the use of product or process by the public, including own product release, if it is more than 1 year old. So suppose you have innovated a product, you have released the product to the market, and after a year, somebody said that, oh, have you got the patent for it? And then you awake suddenly that, no, I don't have the product. Even then, your product will not be treated as if this is a new product, because this product is already available in the market. Now, inventive step is determined based on the obviousness and non-obviousness. So if your product is a technically advanced product, or it has got the economic values in comparison to the known product or known item, then it would be treated as if
this product or process is a non-obvious product or process. And this makes this non-obviousness or technical advancement determines that there is an inventive step involved in that product or process. Now, if I give you the simple example for this, suppose you are doing your research and development work in a lab, and if you discuss about your invented product or process with your peers, with your colleagues, and if your peer pause for 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds when you discuss about your product or process, innovative product or process, and if he pause, if he forced to think, it means that there is something new. And if after listening your idea, if he or she says, oh, what is this? This is very obvious. Then you have to again determine, you have to think over again whether my invented product or process is inventive or not. Now, industrial use, in fact, I think one should not worry for this third ingredient of patentability, because usually we don't work till we come to know that if we don't do this, then we will be having a great loss. So unless there is a necessity, nobody work hard. And the saying is correct, that necessity is the mother of the invention. So whenever you want to obtain something, to do something, only then you will start working on it. So this criteria of industrial use is always there. Nobody will innovate something which is of no use. So to make an invention as a patentable invention, we have to consider those two criteria, those two ingredients in a forceful manner, and that is the novelty and inventive step. Just see the example. I will give you the example, simple example. Most of you must be belonging to a blaze, or in other words, having a blaze background. And what we used to see in the blazes, गांव में हम क्या देखते थे कि अपना एक कमरा बना हुआ है और उसके सामने चबूतरा बना हुआ है और उसी चबूतरे पे सब पैर लटका के लोग बैठे हुए हैं, या फिर चारपाई पे बैठे हुए हैं, या फिर जाड़े के दिनों में एक अलाव लगा लिया और उसके चारों तरफ जमीन पे बैठे हुए हैं. But then we can't move this place. That chabutra is always be there at the place where it is. So what people thought of subsequently, this I am talking of the ancient period where these things were not available. So somebody applied his mind and made the stove by using the wood. What they did was that they joined these four legs with each other, and then over it placed a platform, and you can sit on this platform, and this made a stool, and this can be used for sitting anywhere. You can take it away to the place wherever you want to sit. So just see, the criteria of novelty is there because it was not known earlier. The criteria of inventive step is there because there is a technical advancement. Now, what happened was that if you sat on this stool for a long time, there was a backache because there was no support to your back. So what somebody again applied his mind, and what he did was that he raised upwardly those two legs and placed a kind of cross wood just to give the support to your back. And there was a chair, and on this chair you can sit for hours together without having a back pain. But then again, for an hour or two, you can sit on this chair but not for 4 hour, 5 hour, 6 hour, because it was very uncomfortable to sit in a single posture. So again, somebody else applied his mind, and what he did was that he made a revolving chair. And now you can sit on this revolving chair for hours together, 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, and for a whole day, because now you can move on this chair backward, forward, sideward, and then you can take the turn to the right hand side, to the left hand side. So it became much more comfortable than the simple chair. Now what happens again was that, suppose in the house there is a differently abled person whose legs are not working but hands are working, and if he's there in the house, then he was not even able to have a glass of water. He was dependent on others. So somebody again applied his mind, and what he did was that he made a wheelchair over which a differently abled person can sit, and even in his, at least in the house, he can go to the dining table and have a glass of water. He can have the dinner or breakfast or lunch even at that dining table along with the family members. So again, if you see all these 4 items, they fulfill the criteria of an invention, because every single item is new and there is a inventive step involved in this item. We'll give you another simple example. Just see the first figure here. It's a simple rod. It's of no use, except that it can be used for manufacturing certain items, or maybe for the erection of the building. But then somebody applied his mind, and what he did was that he made a hole at one end, and he sharpened the other end, and in this manner he made a sieving needle. घरों में आपने देखा होगा अक्सर हमारी माताएं बहनें इसी तरह की सुई का यूज करके थोड़ा थोड़ा रिपेयर वर्क अपने घर में ही कर लेती हैं. Then there was a sieving machine. And when the sieving machine was invented, there was a need of a kind of special kind of needle. And then what the inventor did was that he now made a hole on the sharp end, and on the blunt end he made a little bit of larger size, and having a kind of slot there, and a guiding channel also throughout the length of this needle, which guides the thread to the hole. And the other end was made in such a manner that this is fixed with the lever of the sieving machine in such a manner that during the process of sieving, it doesn't revolve at all. If it starts revolving during the sieving, the sieving cannot be done. So again, just see the third one is again fulfilling the criteria of invention as per the Patent Act, because it is new in construction and it has got technically advanced. It is a technically advanced item. So it is a kind of non-obvious item. Who can apply for a patent? A true and first inventor who holds the rightful ownership in the invention. A person who is an assignee or legal representative of the first and true inventor. Inventions, as I said, it's a kind of property and can be assigned. A legal heir of the first and true inventor in case of demise of the true and first inventor. So suppose my father, if made certain invention, and unluckily if he demised, then in that case his son, legal heir, maybe son or daughter, can apply for a patent. So where to file a patent application? This is at the Patent Office, Delhi, the state of Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir. So people who are residing here in this Haryana, Jammu, Kashmir, Punjab, Himachal Pradesh, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, National Territorial Capital of Delhi, they will file the patent application there in Delhi office. Whole India has been divided into 4 zones: east, west, north, south, and the 4 patent offices has been made, like Patent Office Delhi, Patent Office Mumbai, the state of Gujarat, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Goa, Chhattisgarh, Union Territory of Daman and Diu, Dadar and Nagar Haveli. The people who are residing there in these states, they will file the application there in Mumbai. And then Patent Office Chennai, state of Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, and Union Territory of Pondicherry and Lakshadweep. And then the Patent Office Kolkata, rest of India, state of Bihar, West Bengal, Sikkim, Assam, Meghalaya, Manipur, Tripura, Nagaland. All these people, these means that the person who is residing in the territory of a particular or jurisdiction of a particular patent office, the patent application will be filed there. Documents, what are the documents required to file a patent application? Application form, which is form 1. Specification, it may be provisional or complete specification, which is form 2. Drawings, if needed to describe the invention clearly and sufficiently. In case of mechanical items, we describe the invention, or the drawings are required to describe the invention in a clear manner. And then an undertaking under section 8 form 3, that is that the applicant is under obligation to inform the patent office or government of India that he has filed the application, patent application, in a foreign country also. So if you file an application after filing in India, you are under obligation to inform the Indian government or patent office that I have filed the application at so and so place. And then the declaration of inventorship. Suppose the application was filed with a provisional specification, then at the time of filing the complete after provisional, you have to declare that who are the inventors. And at this stage, you can add the inventors or you can drop the inventors. Document to claim priority. Yes, this is in case of conventional patent applications, because there is a convention treaty. And in that case, what happens usually is that and there was a treaty where it was decided that if the application is being filed in a conventional country, member country of that treaty, then you will be providing the priority documents, maybe application form and copy of the patent specification which was filed there. And based on that, you can claim the priority of your home country in any other convention country. And then power of authority, if the patent application is being filed through a patent attorney. As you know, patent application can be filed by the applicant directly, but sometime most of the time it happens that the applicant is not aware of that in what way the patent specification is to be drafted and what are the documents which are required to file along with the patent application. Procedure of grant, that you file a patent application. After 6 weeks or even at the time of filing this application, you can file a request for examination. Once the application is filed, with or without the request for examination, this application is published automatically after 18 months, which is being called as 18-month publication. And this 18-month publication is done just to let the people know that this kind of patent application has been filed. If somebody is interested, he can file the pre-grant opposition. And then if there is no opposition, and if at all there is a opposition, the examination is done by the patent office. And certainly 99 cases we have seen that there are objections, maybe technical objections, maybe formal objections, but objections are always there. So you have to comply with the requirement of those objections, and within 6 months from the date of issuance of the examination report. And if the patent office people are convinced with your submissions, they will accept the patent application, or else they will give you an opportunity of hearing. And then on the day of hearing, you have to go to the patent office, attend the hearing, and make the people of the patent office understand that where does your invention lies and why it is novel and is having or consisting of inventive step and is ultimately patentable. And then and there, the officer concerned usually decide, accept or reject the application. And then some cases they will give the order maybe after a few weeks. And then if it is accepted, the application will again publish, and within a year, the person interested again file a post-grant opposition against the grant of such patent. And then if there is no opposition within a year time, then the patent is granted. So this is the complete procedure. Lifetime of the patent is 20 years. before 2005, the lifetime of the patent was 7 years and 11 years. 7 years for the pharma and food items, and 11 years for other kind of inventions like mechanical invention or electronic product related invention, and process invention also. Before 2005, there was a process patent here in India, but there was no product patent. Now, after 2005, product patent has been initiated, started here in India, and the process patent is of no use now. Usually, is of no use. Government fee for filing the patent application is recently has been amended, and now there are two kind of government fee. Government fee is 1600 in case of natural person, startup, and small entities. If the applicant is a natural person or a startup or a small entity, then the government fee is 1600 rupees. There are other criteria also, like if it is a women applicant, or if it is a government institute, then also they have to pay 1600 rupees only. And in the rest of the cases, others alone or with natural person, startup or small entity, they have to pay 8,000 as the government fee for the filing of the patent application. Government fee for filing request for examination is 4,000 rupees for the natural person and startup or small entities, and 20,000 rupees for the other than natural person or startup or small entities. So big companies, private institutions, they have to pay 20,000 rupees. And there is another step here, early publication. So you can file a request for early publication, and the fee in case of individual or startup and small entity is 2,500 rupees, and in case of a big company, this is 10,000 rupees. So usually I'm asked that whether a software is patentable. In fact, software per se is not patentable, but if the software is a combination of software and hardware, this is patentable. In other words, if I say that product specific software, suppose a software is made for the operation of a particular machine, like CNC machine is the machine which gives you the exact things or scale. CNC, computer numerical operated machine, then in that case, this is computer operated numerical machine, and that software which is meant to operate this CNC is patentable. Likewise, other softwares which are product specific softwares, they are patentable. But it should be more than an abstract concept, and of course meet the all the parameters which are meant for a patentable invention. That is, this software plus hardware should be new. It should involve an innovative step, and this should be useful. Earlier, the law was that even the hardware should be novel hardware, but this has been amended now for the last 2 years, and now the hardware may be a known hardware, but if the software is new and it is a combination of software and known hardware, even then the patent may be granted. Usually, and if you see, this software can be protected in three ways. This can be protected as a patent. Software are usually protected under Copyright Act, and it can be protected as a trade secret also. But the only thing is that it is protected as a trade secret as long as you are able to keep it secret. But when it goes to the public and it doesn't remain as secret, then you lose the right as a trade secret. International patent, usually all the time people ask that is there any concept of world patent? The answer is no. There is no concept like world patent, but of course there is a concept which has come into force when there was a patent corporation treaty. So under this patent cooperation treaty, you can file an international patent application. 189 countries are the member country of this patent cooperation treaty. And if you file the application under PCT route, the single application is being treated as if it is filed in all the member countries. So that is, and this phase is being known as international phase. But then after or up to 30 months, in some countries 28 months, and in some countries 30 months, and in India and some more countries this is 31 months, you have to enter into the national phase. PCT international phase was that you have filed single application in your home country, and it would be treated as if this is filed in all the member countries. But then you have, and there is a time limit. 30 months you have in your hands, and you can make the research and development that which are the countries where I want to protect my patent. You make the research, and then you have to enter into the national phase. So make the national phase application, and then you have to comply with all the laws, all the rules and regulations, and you have to pay even the fee in the country wherever you want to enter into the national phase. This PCT can be filed directly at WIPO or in the home country. But if you want to file this application as WIPO or in a foreign country, then you have to take permission from the government of India for filing such application, because the law is that being an Indian national, and if the invention has been made in India, you are under obligation to file the application first, or to disclose the invention first to government of India, and then you can disclose to a foreign country. So if you want to file the application there in a foreign country, you have to take permission from the government of India to file the application in a foreign country. Now, what is not patentable? Whatever we have discussed so far, it appears that everything, each and everything is patentable, but it is not that. There are exceptions, and the exceptions are, and they have been defined under section 3, that what is not patentable. So just see, an invention contrary to well-established natural laws, for example, perpetual motion gravitational force. So if anything is against or contrary to these well-established laws, which is gravitational force or perpetual law of motion, is not patentable. It does not mean that if you have invented a device based on the perpetual motion or gravitational force, like a device which gives you an alarm, which gives you an indication that, look, after 10 seconds there would be a earthquake, please get away from this building. If you invent such kind of device based on the perpetual motion or gravitational force, you will get the patent for it, because it's a device. You are not asking for the patent for these principles of gravitational force or perpetual motion, but you are asking for the construction of a device which is used for giving you the information regarding the earthquake. An invention contrary to the laws of, and this is section 3A, an invention contrary to laws of public health and morality, for example, toxic drugs, food item, drink. It may be new, the soft drink may be new, it may be having the inventive step involved in it, but it is against the morality. So if you have got a new kind of beer, new kind of alcohol which is used for the human consumption, you will not get a patent for it, because the consumption of these alcohols are not good for the public health. Mere discovery of scientific principle or formulation of an abstract theory, mere discovery of any living thing or non-living thing, substance occurring in nature. So anything which is a mere scientific principle, or a living thing or non-living thing which is already existing in nature, and if you have isolated the same thing from the nature, you will not get a patent for it. Mere discovery of new property or new use of known substance, unless the efficacy of the substance is increased or mere use of known process or machine. Section 3D. Most of you must be aware of that Novartis case. What happened in that Novartis case? That the Novartis filed a patent application there in their own country in US and got the patent, and simultaneously they filed the application here in India for a innovative or improved pharma product, pharma composition. And what they did was that they used the same element, but not exactly the same derivative of the same element. And based on the derivative, they were trying to tell the Indian government or Indian Patent Office that they have invented a new composition. It is not the one which is patented one. The government of India rejected this patent under section 3D, and they said that of course you might have used now instead of the real element, you might have used the derivatives, but the efficiency of the medicine or the pharma product remains the same. The efficiency has not been increased, and they rejected the application under section 3D. Then the Novartis went to High Court Madras. It was rejected by the High Court. Then finally they went to even Supreme Court, and then it was rejected by the Supreme Court also under section 3D, and they said it is not an efficient drug. Substance obtained by mere admixture or resulting only in the aggregation of the properties of components, no new product. If I give you the example here, suppose you have used element A, B and C for preparing a product D. A is used in 30%, B is used 20%, and C is used as 50%. So 30, 20, 50. It gives you 100% and you get a product D. But the D is nothing but a mere admixture containing the properties of A, B and C. No new property. It means that there is no new product. If the product is new, it means it would have new properties also. But suppose you mix these A, B, C, and there is a concept in chemistry called as synergistic effect. This is a kind of endothermic reaction where the heat is not generated, energy is not generated, but there is a reaction amongst the element which are mixed together, and a D is made, and this D product has new properties also. It's not the mere aggregation of the properties of A, B or C, but it has got new properties, and in that case you will get a patent for it because the product is new and is developed due to the synergistic effect of A, B and C. Mere arrangement or rearrangement of the known devices working independently in a known manner, so section 3F, you will not get a patent for it if it is a mere arrangement or rearrangement of the known devices working independently. If I make you understand this provision of 3F with an example, then I would say that when I was working with Government of India, a National Innovation Foundation in Gujarat, Ahmedabad, there this NIF used to do the certain kind of programs just to promote the students so that they come forward and they say that, look, we have done something new. So there was a entry of 6th standard student. 6ठी क्लास के बच्चे ने एक एंट्री दी NIF में और उसने कहा कि मैंने एक वॉकिंग स्टिक बनाई है, and if you walk in the evening with my walking stick, you don't have to have the light or the torch in your hand. And what he did was that he put a small dynamo in the bottom top of this stick. This dynamo was connected with a storage battery, which he used somewhere towards the top end of this stick. So there was a storage battery, and this output of this storage battery were connected with a torch bulb at the top end of the stick. And what was happening here is that during walking, if you walk, there is pressure on the bottom tip of the stick, and due to this pressure, the dynamo was generating electricity, which was being stored in that storage battery, and from the storage battery, it was being supplied to that torch bulb, and there was a light during the walking of the stick. Now here, if you see, battery is known, dynamo is known, torch bulb is known, even a stick is known. But this combination of a stick, dynamo, battery, and torch bulb is a new combination. And each and every component is working interdependently upon one another. If you remove the dynamo, the whole stick means you will not get a light. If you remove torch bulb, you will not get a light. If you remove this storage battery, you will not get a light. So here section 3F does not apply. But suppose I say that I have also innovated a kind of stick with which you can walk in the night. And what I did was that I purchased a stick. I purchased a dry cell battery from the market, and I clamped this dry cell battery on the top end of the stick. And what I did was that whenever I want to move in the night, what I will do is that I will simply switch on the dry cell battery, which is clamped at the upper end of the stick, and there is a light. It is as good as you are holding the torch in your hand. This is not a inventive step. This is not an invention, because here the stick is functioning independently. It gives you the support, and that dry cell battery is functioning independently because you have switched on, because the dry cells are there inside the chamber of this dry cell battery. So there, the combination of this dry cell battery and stick is not patentable. Method of agriculture and horticulture, any kind of method which is being used in agriculture or horticulture, you will not get a patent for it. But it does not mean that the devices which are being used in the agriculture or horticulture purposes may not be patentable. These devices are patentable. Any method or treatment of human being or animal is not patentable. So if you see, every hospital is using a kind of process, method of treatment, but this method is not patentable. It does not mean that the medicines, which is a pharma product, or the instruments which are being used for testing purposes of a patient, they will not be patented. Yeah, they will be patented, because this is not the part of that method, but it is an independent entity, devices, product which is being used during that treatment, method of treatment. So they are patentable. Plants and animals in whole or any part thereof other than microorganisms. So plant or animals may be whole or part other than microorganism is not patentable. It means that the microorganism are patentable. If you see Dr. Diamond Chakrabarty case, there what he did was that he isolated a microorganism from a natural product. He isolated a microorganism which was available in nature. But then what he did was that he genetically modified it in the lab. And this genetically modified microorganism, the beauty of this microorganism was that it used to eat oily food, and oil is converted in the form of a water. So he was eating oil and making it or converting it into water kind of thing, and it was very useful in the sea. See, you might have seen that tankers, big tankers are used in the sea for transporting the oil, raw oil from one country to another country, and sometimes there is a leakage, and the density of oil is less than the density of water. So what happens is that usually water comes up on the upper surface of this water, and when there is a oil on the upper surface of water, the penetration of oxygen into the water stops. And when there is no oxygen in the water, all the creatures, all the animals which are residing in that water, in the sea, under that oil surface, they start dying, because there is no oxygen. Oxygen is necessary for a living thing. So Diamond Chakrabarty innovated this microorganism, and the patent was first rejected by the patent office. It was rejected by the federal office, but then by the Supreme Court of US, it was granted, and it was said, it was decided that the microorganism which has been modified genetically is as good as a new product having an inventive step, because there was a process which was being used for genetically modify to modify the microorganism genetically, and it was treated that this is a patentable invention. It was treated as a product. If I say nowadays the virus which has been rather innovated, as we have been told that this COVID-19 is a kind of virus which has been innovated in China, and this has been innovated genetically. The virus, see, coronavirus is already known. What we use, you have a cold, cough and cold. This is also being generated by a kind of coronavirus. It is from by a kind of coronavirus. So if you and what has happened is that China has used the same kind of virus, but it has been genetically modified in that Wuhan part of that China, and they has spread it over the world, and now it is untreatable because it has been modified genetically. So unless you know the characteristic of this virus, you will not be able to make even those antivirus vaccines, and that's the problem coming in. And it mutate, it adapt itself as per the environment. If it goes into the cold environment, it becomes like that. It survives in the cold as well as hot environment because it has been modified genetically in such a manner. So method of business method or computer program per se, as I have said, computer program per se are not patentable. That is general kind of softwares like the mobile apps, which can work on your mobile. Any kind of mobile they can work. These are the softwares which are being called as general kind of software, not patentable. Business method, yes, there is a debate. In India, business method is not patentable, but in US, in some cases, it has been patented, but not in all the cases it is patented. So literary, dramatic, and musical artistic work, no patent, because they are being protected under that Copyright Act. Mere scheme or rule of method of performing mental act, method of playing game, not patentable. Presentation of information. Just see the way you have presented the information. As I am presenting before you people, it's a kind of way of presentation. It's copyright. It's protected under copyright. It's not patentable. You might have seen in my slides, copyright RP Yadav. It means this is prepared by me. I have put my own language here. Maybe some figures I have taken and I have disclaimed in the disclaimer that look, the drawings of figures which I have used in my this presentation are not my copyright. So I'm fair use. I'm doing a fair use, though I have used the copyrighted matter of someone else, but I have acknowledged that these are not my copyrighted things. And fair use you can do. Topography of integrated circuit. There is an act itself. IC Protection Act is there. Integrated Circuit Layout and Designs Act is there. Then an invention relating to traditional knowledge, 3P. Yes, if there is anything which is related to a traditional knowledge, you will not get a patent. And you might have seen हल्दी का पेटेंट, टर्मरिक पेटेंट, नीम पेटेंट जो यूएस में हुए वो रिजेक्ट हुए because these were available or these were known to the Indian people as traditional knowledge, but the only thing was that they were not there in a written format, in the form of a publication. And you must be aware of after that incidence of turmeric case, the US Patent Office asked the Indian government that look, how do we come to know that this is a kind of traditional knowledge? And at that time, Mr. Maselkar was the Director General of CSIR. He took the initiative and then he started preparing a TKDL, Traditional Knowledge Digital Library, where thousands and thousands of entries have been made in respect of traditional knowledges. And now you might have seen that there is no case, there is no patent anywhere in the world is now granted which is related to the traditional knowledge. and an invention relating to atomic energy, section 4 of the atomic energy says that nothing which is related to atomic energy may be patented, and you are not supposed to disclose it under any circumstances to any other country. So no patent when the invention is related to an atomic energy kind of case. This is the trend which we have seen. See, way back when I started my practice in 1987, the total number of patent applications which were being filed was in the range of 180 to 220 applications in all the 4 patent offices. In all the 4 patent offices, the number of patent applications in 1988, 87 until 90 or even 2000, the number was only 180, 240, and then it came up to 300. And now if you see, after 2010, 32,000 applications were filed in 2010-11, 11-12, 38, 12-13, 43.5, 13-14, 43,000 applications, 14-15, 43,000 applications, 15-16, 47,000 applications, and 16-17, 45,500 applications, and 17-18, 47 or almost 48,000 applications, and 18-90 and 19-20 again around 48,000 to, or in the range of 48,000 to 50,000 applications are being filed every year. And you will be wondering to know that 80% applications are being filed by the foreigners, whether it is a foreign company or it is a foreign individual. They are filing 80% applications of these 50,000 applications in India belongs to foreigners. But you will be happy to know that 80% inventors who have been named in these applications are of Indian origin. They are Indian. And the only lacuna or any drawback with our government and with our industrialists, Indian business houses, is that we are not able to retain the talent in India. These people are going to US or UK or any other foreign country, and they are settled there working for those foreign companies, and they are doing wonderful creations, wonderful inventions, generating wonderful inventions there in the foreign countries. So now it's the session for question answer. Any question, please? Sameer?
Thank you, RP Yadav sir, for your wonderful talk. I think that was quite
Sameer,
in
your
depth.
voice, I'm not able to. Please increase the voice.
Are you? Can you hear me now, sir?
Just a minute. Let me see where I'm. Yeah.
Yeah. So, am I audible to you now?
Sameer, your voice is still not very much clear to me. Okay, can I remove this sharing?
Yeah, sir. You can stop sharing. No problem.
Okay.
So
Yes,
you just
Sameer.
have to. Yeah. So I'm
Now you
audible
are
now,
audible
sir.
to me.
Okay. Thank you, sir. I just wanted to say thank you for taking the time off to conduct this webinar. I feel it was quite interesting from my end. We'll open the we will open up the Q&A session. Our first question is I think something you've already answered, but nonetheless we'll address it. Can software like mobile apps be patented? That's the first question. I think you answered that specifically.
I gave the answer to this, that mobile apps are not patentable. Yeah.
But is it just restricted to mobile apps, or is it any other softwares as such that can be patented or not?
See, Sameer, usually what happens is that any app which is a kind of general app means that, do you know, okay, I will give you the example of the Microsoft itself. Do you know Microsoft does not have any patent in India, though they have patent there in US, and they are filing all kind of litigations in India under Copyright Act for the copyright infringement. Why not patent infringement? Because they don't have patent. So because this operating system, they are capable enough, they're kind of general software. They can operate the laptop, they can operate the desktop, they can operate any kind of computer, whether this is made of Acer, whether this is of HCL, or this is Dell, or whatever. So such kind of software which are meant to run different kind of devices for the same purpose, they are being treated as of software per se, which are not patentable. Likewise, mobile apps, because whenever you make a mobile app, this can run your iPhone, it can run the Samsung phone, it can run the any kind of phone. They can operate that telephone. So they are being treated as the software per se, general kind of software, not patentable.
Not patentable. Thank you, sir. The same question. The second part of that question is, can the individual holding the patent sell the right, sell the
Yeah.
patented right?
Yeah, can be. See, as I have said in the beginning, that intellectual property is a kind of asset. It is a kind of intangible asset. You cannot see it, but you can very well feel it. And very proudly, when you have a patent with you, you say that, look, I am the holder of so and so patent. And this can be used or utilized in the same manner as of other properties. You can license it, as you can rent your house, you can license it. As you can sell your movable or immovable properties, you can assign it once for all. Right?
And similarly, once suppose the person who holds the patent expires, does that patent automatically get transferred to the next of kin?
See, when the patent is expired, it becomes a public property. Anyone
No, sir,
can
not the
use this
patent. The
patent.
patent holder.
Hello?
Not the patent per se, sir. The patent holder, the person who holds the patent, if he expires, does the patent get transferred to? Yeah.
Yes. As I have said, who can apply for a patent? What did I say there? The legal heir. So suppose the patent holder expires, the legal heirs, what they have to do is that they have to inform the patent office that we are the legal heir and this patent should be transferred in our name now. But for that, they have to have a kind of death certificate from the authorities, and they have to establish themselves as the legal owner of that deceased person, and it would be transferred to the legal heirs.
Thank you, sir.
समीर जी, मैं आपसे एक चीज जानना चाहता हूँ, क्या ये सब डिटेल हम लोगों को भी मिल सकता है क्या?
Please introduce yourself if you want to be speaking out of turn.
सर समीर भाई, मैं ये जानना चाह रहा था कि ये जो आरपी यादव जी ने पूरे पेटेंट के और जो रूल बताए हैं, क्या हम लोगों को भी एक कॉपी इसकी मिल सकती है क्या?
प्रेजेंटेशन की कॉपी समीर ये मांगना चाह रहे हैं.
हाँ, तो बिल्कुल द पीपीटी हम बाद में अपलोड करेंगे YouTube पे, so it will be available on YouTube. और
वैसे तो ये सारा ऑनलाइन अवेलेबल रहता है उमेश जी. इस वाले वीडियो को आप कभी भी सुन सकते हैं, इवन आफ्टरवर्ड्स एट फेसबुक. तो आप ये मान के चलें कि ये आपके साथ अवेलेबल है हमेशा.
ओके सर, लेकिन सर लिंक उसका अगर मिल जाए हम लोगों को तो हम लोग और किया जा सकता है. ये तो मैं
मिलेगा. समीर जी आपको भेजेंगे.
Yeah, please Umesh sir, can you please direct your questions to me so that there isn't any interruption? Thank you. Chat में भी आप भेज सकते हो, मैं आंसर कर लूंगा सर. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
The next question, sir, is from Mimansha Shaw, who asks, sir, can you please discuss about the implication of grant of compulsory license of patent in India?
Yeah. See, usually the question of compulsory licensing comes when the patent holder or patentee is not able to fulfill the demand of the market. There is one case only in India where they have got the compulsory licensing for that medicine, which is I think being used for the treatment of cancer. And in that case, I I forgot the name of that company who got this compulsory license because the patentee were not able to fulfill the demand of the market. So if you are able to establish that, look, this is the patentee who are not able to fulfill the demand of the market, and it is very much required for the benefit of the public at large, then you can simply apply for the compulsory license and you can get the compulsory license. There is no bad implications, but the only thing is that it is not granted in general. In specific cases, the compulsory license is granted, and for that you have to prove that the patentee is not able to fulfill the demand of the public at large. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Our next question is from Rudra, who asks, to search for already existing patents, is there any service or website online?
Yeah, see, now you would be aware of that Google patent is there. So to the beginners, I would say that they can conduct the prior art searches by using that Google patent. Just go to the Google patent, put up your keywords there in that specific field, and then you will be able to know patent and non-patent literature. Google patent, you will come to know about the patents, and simple Google, if you search, you will come to know about even the non-patent literature. Though when we patent attorney do the prior art searches, we use the patent office website of different patent offices like US Patent Office, EPO Patent Office, SpaceNet, WIPO, on all free website we usually use. But the big companies, they use even the paid websites also, like MicroPatent, and there are so many other patent. Thomson Reuters has, and they are paid website where you have to pay lakhs and lakhs of rupees for a year, and there you can use the paid website also. But for general kind of people, I would suggest that they should use only free website.
Thank you, sir. Our second last question is coming from Geetika, who asks, the procedure to file a patent, although stated that it costs 8,000 rupees for a non-natural person, they were just wondering that if the patent fails to get registered, will the money be returned?
Why will it be returned?
I'm not sure that this question is coming in.
You have to give the government fee. If it is registered, it is not refunded. It is a government fee, processing fee. See, people are there. Government has now almost around 600 class 1 gazetted patent examiners. If they start refunding that your fee, from where they will get the salaries of those class 1 gazetted officers?
Absolutely,
it is
sir.
you who are contributing to pay their salaries. So you will not get any refund. But of course, there are some institutions like National Research Development Corporation is there, like MSME is there. If you apply to them, DST is there, Department of Science and Technology is there. There are so many institutions who rather support the applicant, patent applicant, and they may be able to give you a certain kind of money just to, or in the form of reimbursement if your patent is granted.
Thank you, sir. I think that answered it very well. The last question is personally from my side. I was wondering, sir, you said that if the patent filed is only valid in India. So suppose I file a patent in India, it will only be valid in India. What is stopping people from around the world from going to, say, checking out US's patent office and then making the same patent in India? Since there's no international body that governs it, how does someone protect their invention in different countries from being copied?
See, Samir, what happens is that there is no international kind of patent. There is a treaty which is being called as Patent Cooperation Treaty, under which you can file a patent application and in your own country, home country, because every country has been treated as a receiving office. So there is an institute named as World Intellectual Property Organization, WIPO. There you can file the international patent application. Whenever you file the patent application under PCT rule, it goes to WIPO. So there is an institute which covers the process of patent all over the world. But the patent is not granted from a single office, because every country has got its own laws for governing the provisions with regard to patent. The fees are different, the laws are different, and due to this difference of laws and fee and procedure, there cannot be a single body who can grant the patent for the world at large. No, it's not. That kind of arrangement is not yet there. The arrangement is there to file the international application, and then you enter into the national phase, and then you protect your invention in the country wherever you want to protect it. That provision is there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I think at this point this is the end for the question and answer session. I'd like to thank you, RP Yadav sir, once again for taking the time out to give us such an in-depth analysis into patents and their protection and registration in India. From lawyer's side, I thank you, sir. Thank you very much. It was our honor to have such an experienced advocate on our webinar with us. For our audience, I'd just like to